what the hell happened at the Vanderpump reunion? Because it has been war online between the podcasts, the interviews, Lala's side at least. Lala is so clearly against Katie and Ariana. It's wild. So, and she keeps alluding to something happened at the reunion. So, what the fuck happened at the reunion? We have so much to cover today. So much. We've got the two shows, Valley and Vanderpump. We've got the after show, of course, and then Lala's podcast. I tried to avoid listening to it, but people were posting clips, and it was just like, I gotta say this. So I've also got all these clips that I'm going to play for us, so we can just talk a bunch of shit. The Valley is in and of itself its own thing now. Like, the first couple episodes, I'm like, I love this show. It's funny. It's drama. But now there's like complexity to it because racism has been brought into the mix, and we all know Kristen's history. So it's just, there's a lot to cover today. I may even have to make this 2 episodes because I don't want to like get exhausted and then sort of rush through anything. I want to be here, committed for all of it. Let's start with just the episode, Vanderpump, just the episode recap, because then that will lead into other things. My brain is like, where do I start? There's just so much to say. So this might be kind of a sloppy, less polished episode because I'm so overwhelmed with the content to discuss. Okay, let's get started. Okay, before I actually say any more about the show, I want to address something that you may have noticed, you may not have noticed. I got a little something done. I went in for my usual Botox appointment, but I also went in because I was like, it's time. I want to try lip filler. So I've got my lips filled. They're still very swollen and bruised, really bruised, which is all very normal. The amount of Googling I've done, is it normal lip filler, whatever, fill in the blank. I've Googled it all. So far, everything's coming up fine. And I have the same woman has been doing my Botox for years. So I totally trust her. And I don't think in any way it will come out when it's all settled down. It'll come out bad, but I'm not used to it. And it's still very much healing the lips, you see. So they still feel really weird. I'm not totally sold. So I can't tell you like, oh my God, best thing I've ever done. It's also painful. Holy shit. So I got Botox, my usual Botox. I've been getting the same routine for a long time. But then I also did filler in the cheek. I've done filler once before in the cheek about almost a year ago. So I zhuzhed that up a bit. But none of that was even remotely painful compared to the lip. I'll tell you right now, that lip fucking hurts. Oh, it's painful. There's so many nerve endings in your lip. So that was the least pleasant of all of the things. But once they settle, I'll move closer to the camera, and I'll also post on social media and stuff. I haven't done any face front content. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. For a few days because I just up close, I'm like, what is this? I'm not used to it, but it has to settle down, and it will, hopefully, a little bit. But, okay. That's just in case anyone was like, something's different. And I will always be transparent about that shit. Always. No shame. Okay. Now to business. So Anne arrives in a blazer to work because she is going to interview to work with Ariana in the house that Tom also is in. Okay, this was bold. I know we stan Anne. I see people just loving Anne. Anne seems like this innocent little person or whatever. But maybe this is a hot take. But what type of professional is interviewing for another job in the same building as the person they already work for who is mortal enemies with said other new possible employer. I just thought it was a weird message. And I don't think Ariana did anything wrong. I think Ariana has the right to do as many petty bullshit things as she wants to do to Tom because Tom made a fool of her for a long time. The entire season, last season, letting Ariana defend them against the rumors, knowing full well, like, well, we are having an affair. So I don't think Ariana did anything bad. I'm just saying from Anne as a professional, like, unfortunately, you shouldn't probably work for Ariana. You probably don't get that opportunity because you work for Tom. And I don't know what her goals are. I don't listen to her podcast. I just don't listen to anyone's podcast, really, unless it's someone I have to for this, clearly. But I don't really get her strategy. Like, if you want to be an assistant and be known as a good assistant and then work your way up to getting higher A-list clientele, doing this just seems like you cannot be trusted in any way, shape, or form. So I don't know what she's trying to do. Maybe she in no way wants to be an assistant. Maybe she wants to be a reality star. Maybe that was the opportunity that she actually was signing up for. And she thought that Ariana would be the bigger meal ticket. But I just, Tom's terrible. We know, know how I feel about Tom. But he's someone who hired her to be his assistant. And if she wants to be an assistant to someone bigger, they have all this proof that she will not honor an NDA. She'll talk all this shit about you. And hey, if you've got a mortal enemy, she'll work for them and interview to work with them in your home. It just was to me, all around strange choice for her. And like, she's a mess too. Like, her hair is a mess. Like, she's just kind of a wacky, kooky girl. And all of it just is weird. Like, I don't like saying that Tom is right, but like, I understand Tom being like, what the fuck? Anne? Like, I wouldn't want to have Anne as my employee either. You can't work for both of us. Or if are you gonna put your 2 weeks notice in with me and start working for Ariana? So like, I feel really weird saying this, but I was like, I kind of understand why Tom would have fired her. Like, the one person you're gonna work for is Ariana. That's not going to happen. So Ariana claims in the after show that she was like worried about Tom possibly retaliating and being really vicious. That's why she, quote, didn't poach Anne. And claims that all she did was contact Anne to ask for Rex if she knows of anyone else who would be an assistant. And Anne obviously is like, I'll do it. And Ariana says, I didn't want her to feel like I was saying no because I didn't think she would do a good job. I know she would do a good job. So I just really was meeting with her because I didn't want her to feel bad at all. And then he ends up firing her anyway. And so it's like all that worrying for nothing. I'm sorry. You guys know how much I go to bat for Ariana, but I always will say it like accurately. If we're looking at it just on face value, what you should have said to Anne is, well, I can't do that, Anne. It's like, I'm just stoking a flame here. Like, that's just for my own mental health. That's not the way to go. He's going to freak out and he's going to be mean. And if you want to keep your job, because she wasn't even looking to hire right away. If you want to keep your job, then let's not do that. But to interview in the house, they could have gone to a coffee shop. They could have gone anywhere. Of course, he's going to eavesdrop and listen to you guys talking about that. Like, I just don't, that part was weird to me. But I also, it's like, then I'm like, I don't care what happens to Tom. I really don't care what happens to Tom. It's just a really weird choice for Anne, I don't know. I don't know. He's being real cold though. When Anne comes in and she's like, I'm going to go check on Tom real quick. And then she goes up and tells him, he's like being really weird to her from the beginning. So maybe he had an idea of what was happening. And then she says, I'm going to go talk to Ariana. She needs some help looking for assistance. So I'm going to talk to her and see if I can help her. And he's like, all right. And then I think he must have known. So that's why he then went and listened. I hate saying that I side with Tom, but I'm not siding with Tom. I'm just saying, like, if we're taking just this one little example, I understand why Tom listened to be like, wait, you're doing what now? But again, then I go back to back over here. I don't care. I don't care what Ariana did. Ariana can do whatever she wants to him in terms of that's harmless, essentially. Like, you don't need a fucking assistant, Tom. You literally don't. You're working out. And then while she cleans downstairs, he gives, we'll get to the after show, but he gives examples of stuff that she does. And it's like, she opens the mail. She waters some plants. I'm like, all things you're totally capable of doing, dude. So you don't need an assistant. But we'll get to the after show. The after show is its own beast in and of itself. But this was all very weird. But I kind of just blame that on Tom not needing a fucking assistant and having this weird person just in the house. And Ariana's been annoyed by it forever. He said, he's like, Ariana didn't even like having Anne around. But then he'd be like, he had to check himself. He's like, okay, well, just because, she'd be like, why do you need her? And I'm like, because she helps. She helps me do stuff. No, you just like having control over someone. You just like having the option to say to someone, go do this, and they have to say yes. That's all it is, dude. Schwartz goes over to Sheena's and Brock's, and he's just like looking around. He's like, oh man, I want kids. I want your life. I don't like my life. So Schwartz, you were married to Katie, and she could have given you all of those things. It's interesting, the psychology of Schwartz, because when Katie was wanting something from him, he couldn't care less. He probably wasn't even attracted to her, really. It's just like, ugh, whatever. But now that they're not together anymore, and she's like, I don't fucking care about you, asshole. He's pointing, he's hinting to things. So he walks outside. He's like, man, every time I come to the West Side, it's like this breath of fresh air. That's what I used to say about sex with Katie. What? He's like, we didn't have sex a lot, but when we did, I'm like, reminiscing, huh? Maybe thinking, wow, maybe I didn't need to hate Katie so much. Maybe she is actually kind of sometimes on the right side of history and I was being the bad guy. That's never going to happen. Schwartz never going to think that. But it's interesting now that Katie is truly done. Done. He wants all these things that he had the option of having. You could have had that with Katie. And I can tell you still do care for Katie, but Schwartz doesn't know how to stand up. And Tom was very, very manipulative and all-consuming. And also, Schwartz was like cheating on Katie. So he was like, fuck Katie. Ariana goes over to Katie's and says that when she was leaving, she sees Anne crying in the kitchen because Tom, came down on her. I hate saying this, you guys, but like, that was weird of Anne. That was weird of Anne. She should have just quit working for Tom. How do you expect, what's happening? How do you expect to like just go back to working the normal day and have him be like, so you're going to work for Ariana? Like, with all you know? But okay, back at Brock and Sheena's. Brock tells Schwartz that Sheena's really mad at him for spilling the whole Max tea. And she's like, hell yeah, I'm mad at him. It's not his place. She's like, now it's going to fall back on me with Katie. And Brock goes, don't forget, she wished your world would burn. Are we really harping on that? Are we seriously harping on that? That line that she said when she was mad at Sheena. And Sheena knows that's some like an OCD thing of hers. She didn't intentionally say, come on. But also this proves Brock hates Katie. And Brock, if he had it his way, Brock would be all cool with Schwartz and Tom Sandoval, and Katie and Ariana would be on the outs. Honestly, that's how the producers seem to want it. Now, I also wonder too, do you think Tom has something on the producers? It makes me wonder, because they're really fighting so hard for him. It makes me fucking wonder, like, do you know something that, like, did the producers like do a bunch of blow with you one night and get really wild and do some shit? And they're like, and he's like, remember that, guys? Want me to talk about that? And they're like, okay, we have to give Tom all the redemption edits we can, or something, or make him this. I don't know. It's just so bizarre to me. Anyway, Brock, though, he proves it in the after show. Brock is like, here's my loophole to screen time, and it is to be the guy that will film with Tom and will try to get the group to film with Tom. So he's fully producer puppeting this whole thing. I feel like there's some producer that keeps like texting him, like, what about now? How's it going with the group now? What do we think? Whatever. Because he's like, okay, well, come contracts getting renewed, I would like to be remembered for the hard work I put in trying to get this stubborn group of people to be cool with Tom or something. Schwartz tries to say that Katie is being hypocritical by hooking up with Max and says that, quote, Rachel, I kissed her one time and she was a fringe friend. According to who? It was Sheena's best friend. Sheena's best friend. And Tom loved Rachel. Tom was the one that was pushing Rachel, saying she's awesome, she's amazing, she's great. What are you talking? It wasn't a fringe friend. You all were hanging out at festivals and shit. What the hell are you talking about? Fringe friend. Don't rewrite the rules now and technicality this bitch. You destroyed any standards that could be set, any rules, all of it's gone. Katie realized, okay, Schwartz isn't even worth being friends with. He doesn't give a fuck about me. He kissed Rachel saying, I did that basically to spite Katie. And that's why it hurt her so much. It was like, damn, dude, I asked you to do this one thing and you're like, oh, no, I got to do it. I got to do it. I'm going to do it. So fuck you. Fuck you. What I forgot about, though, with the Max thing is that Dana, Katie's like really bestest friend, they're doing the podcast together. I forgot Dana was with Max and has a whole history with me. I totally forgot about that. So I'll play the clip from, God, there's so many clips to play. I'll play the clip from that podcast that Katie addresses it and Dana addresses it. And I thought it was a very mature conversation, but I'll play that too, because it was also fascinating. Oh my God, you guys, it's gonna be like a 4-hour episode. This water event that Lala throws, I'm just going to drag her to filth for this one. Cause what the hell? This Martin guy, who's this water connoisseur, is the kind of person you meet like at a bar and he talks your ear off about water and you're like, cool. Yeah. But like, dude, everyone knows there's a different flavor of water. Like everyone knows that there's always been debates like Fiji versus Evian, or I don't know, Aquafina versus Aquafina's trash, by the way, like fucking trash. But everybody knows that there's a difference in water. Everybody, right? Like, hello. So she's like, we're going to taste different water. And then this freak shows up talking about it. Like, no, we didn't need to host a water tasting. We really didn't. And then why did you have it at James's house? And even James seemed kind of irritated in the after show. He's like, yeah, it was Peacock had all these released episodes, like extra episodes on the Peacock version. So in the Peacock episode that we'll get to, Peacock scene, I'm sorry. James is like, yeah, Lala had me host it and I got pizzas for everyone. So $150 later. And of course, like hinting like, and Lala didn't even pay me back or anything like that. I don't understand. I don't know why James, though, like Martin starts setting up and James is like hiding. He's probably stoned. That happens to me. Like if I'm high, I'm like, I can't talk to anyone yet. I don't know that person. Katie and Brock see each other and he's like, oh, sorry, I got to talk to you. I'm sorry. I was drunk. I thought it'd be funny, whatever. But Katie in her confessional, she's like, look, maybe this is just a little bit of payback from him from when I talked about his personal life. So we good? And that's a veteran right there. That's a veteran who remembers what she's done and been like, this, some of it is part of the show. Katie did not anticipate this coming up on the show. I could see why. She's like, we weren't filming. Max isn't on the show. She did not realize that Sheena had Max's location. So what could have just been her waking up being like, oh my fucking God, what have I done? Let me talk to people first. And not even bringing it on the show. Not even, are we glad it happened? Are we glad that we got to find out about it? Yes, because it's way more fun this way. Because Katie would have gone the whole season not saying anything on camera, I don't think. She talks about that in the clip. We'll get to the clip later. Okay, anyway. The water guy, Martin, is just like obsessed. And he's like, this is $1,000 bottle of sparkling water. There's, it's so special or whatever. And Lala's like, and he's pouring it out for them. And Lala's like, oh my God, how many were made? And he's like, oh, that I don't know. And then she goes, okay. And he's like, all I do know is that this is the only one in America. And Lala's like, and we're drinking it? And he's like, mm-hmm. I'll go, you're lying. You, sir, are lying. Okay. That's not true. If you were pouring the one and only bottle, you would have led with that. And I'm going to pour this, and it's the only bottle of this water ever in America. He didn't lead with that. But when Lala asked, "Oh, do you know like how many were made?" He thought it was like a trick question. So he was like, "Oh, I don't know, but I do know this one fact that I haven't thought through. And when you ask me, and we're drinking it, I'm gonna say, shit, didn't think that went through because I'm gonna probably use this at another water tasting. Only one. Liar. All right, water tasting was a dud. True dud. That was a jump the shark moment. Producers should have been like, Lala, I don't know. They should have just cut the whole thing. They really should have cut the whole thing. I'm not going to lie. There's a whole thing. But, oh, wait, I just thought of something. But because Lala is participating and helping the producers out, she got the whole scene. Ah, that's what it was. Okay. That she's getting more favors, basically. Right? That's what it feels like. There's a whole thing with the pizza coming and they don't have ranch, and Tom runs out to see if they have ranch. And Ariana is just being a full hater over on the couch. She's like, "Oh my God, since when does he run out? He's doing so much. He's doing way too much." And Lala is all uncomfortable. And Tom hears her and he's like, "Makes it harder for me to be in the background when I hear Ariana making all these comments about me. I've been working hard to rebuild relationships, but with Ariana constantly putting pressure on people to choose her, the deck is stacked against me." That's interesting that you would like that, because I thought that, well, at least in Sheena's case, I thought that Sheena had a personal issue with you. And I also thought Lala just never liked you because you suck. But I guess now it is seeming like Ariana's making them choose. I guess it does kind of seem that way. But I'll play these clips. I have so many clips from Lala's podcast to play, but I'll just talk about one of them. She says that Tom has always been this guy. He's always been the guy to pay for shit and go running out for the fucking ranch and just being the hero. And I think that's accurate. I do think that's accurate. The difference is now Ariana hates everything he does. And there is a little tiny, tiny bit of validation, I guess, I'll give to Lala, saying that he's always been like this. And now that you hate him so much, what about all the times that he was terrible to other women and you just sat there? There's some truth to that. There is some truth to that. But I also do think that Ariana has stood up for people when it's necessary against Tom. For example, when he was coming for Katie and she storms out last season and she's like, "I'm not going to have it be like Tom against the girls. I'm not doing that." I guess how much more can she stand up for him or stand up for Katie? I don't know. But I wouldn't necessarily say that Ariana never stood up for her friends when Tom was being an asshole. But I do think that she was with Tom for a very long time, even when he was an asshole. And it was kind of like, Ariana, really? This is your guy? Because she defended Tom through some dumb shit. She defended Tom through some dumb stuff, especially with like Schwartz and Sandy's getting opened. And she was trusting Tom, believing Tom, under Tom's spell for sure. But I think maybe what could she have done different this season? How could she have expressed what Lala says she needs to have expressed? Could she have come into this season and said, "I know I was with Tom and Tom did a lot of you dirty"? No, that wouldn't have worked. I don't understand. I'm trying so hard to see where Lala is coming from with Ariana, because she makes a point, but then like, couldn't you have said to, sorry, I'm very much thinking things through. So I'm sorry. I told you it's going to be a very scattered episode because like these are complicated, confusing feelings and topics. They're just layers. So, okay. Lala could have said, because we've proven Lala could have said to Ariana, what I'm having a hard time with Ariana is Tom has been terrible. It wasn't just what he did to you. Tom has been fucked up. He said fucked up stuff to me, and you didn't have anything to say about that. And now I feel a little weird because it's like, well, what about all the times he was terrible and you were defending him and now you want all of us not to talk to him? But that still doesn't make sense because, like, why would you want to talk to Tom? Because producers are making them talk to Tom. God, so I circle right back to the exact same problem that I predicted, and I hate that I was right about. Production went about this all wrong, and the show is literally being produced in the wrong direction. Because we could have had girl power moments. We could have been focusing more on, I mean, maybe Ariana was too busy to film a bunch of group scenes. Or maybe they were just not interesting enough. I don't know. I don't know how they could have done this. I know they didn't want to fire Tom, but I guess you could have just filmed Tom doing his own stuff one-on-one. I know I do this every week, you guys. Every week. Doesn't matter. This is what they've given us. Sorry. I'm not doing a very good job of articulating my feelings. I'm so, like, I cannot land on what Lala needed from Ariana. I can't land on it. If you don't talk to Ariana and tell her what you need, then I don't understand what I don't get it. I don't get it. Every time Lala has talked to Ariana, Ariana's come correct. She didn't freak out when Lala contacted Rachel. She didn't get mad when Lala even went and hung out with Tom at her own home. She says to Katie, she's like, I guess Lala is like trying to forgive Tom or like whatever for her own healing or whatever. I'm sorry. She's not getting mad. If you want to be like, and then she's like mad about that. She's barely saying, she's like, I guess that's what her journey is. She needs it. That's fine. How do you expect her to be like, I hope it goes well? She's not going to be a supporter of that, but she's not mad at her. She hasn't cut Lala off. Nothing. So I don't understand what Ariana is doing still, other than making it harder for them to do their jobs comfortably. Because they're so worried, I guess, about like having a scene with Ariana where they snap at her. Like, I feel like Lala just wants to snap at Ariana, but she's not doing that. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. This is just a confusing dynamic. I can't figure this out. Tom, okay, at the party, like the guys are playing basketball and Tom talks to the guys about Ariana, how like she was talking shit to T, saying, oh, he's a 40-year-old narcissist or whatever. And Brock is being so stupid per usual. And he suggests that you need to have this conversation with Ariana, not us. Stop that already. This is a classic reality TV thing. Classic ensemble cast thing where they say, you just need to have a talk. You guys just need to talk. How many times have we heard that? You guys just need to sit down and talk. They don't need that. All of the typical reality TV show bullshit does not apply here because a person who has been to enough therapy knows you don't have a conversation with Tom Sandoval. He does not listen. He will gaslight you to oblivion. You don't fight with a narcissist. Well, that's not good TV, is it? So they keep thinking they can have a conversation on camera. Well, it ain't. Inside, the girls are talking, and Ariana's telling about Anne being sent home. And Sheena and Lala point out that Anne was also like their middleman. So who's going to communicate? Who's going to like mediate between you two? And Ariana goes, I mean, my lawyer maybe could do it, but that's expensive. Every time you contact him, and like, because then Sheena's like, well, your lawyer's not going to tell you when you can go upstairs and use the tonal. And then Ariana goes, well, it is my tonal, which isn't the point. But I feel like she's like another proof that like I have paid for shit. She doesn't know that he's telling everyone she hasn't paid for shit at this point in time. But like, if that's her tonal that she bought and then ends up later when Lucinda comes over to do the like walk around to do the inventory of the house, she bought a bunch of shit too in the house. So Tom's constantly on the like, I bought all this stuff and Ariana doesn't pay for anything. I pay for everything or whatever is bullshit. Thank you for buying batteries and whatever. Ariana could have got those batteries at some point too. It's one of those things that if it's not there, she could be like, oh, let me go get it. It's not like you getting the batteries is she'll never have batteries again in her life. You know who else she can get it delivered. I get my groceries delivered all the time. I buy everything via delivery. I rarely go into a store. So, Tom, your accomplishments are nothing, sir. Okay? But anyway, Lala's interview. I think your lawyer has better things to do than mediate between you and your boyfriend when you're choosing to stay in the house. She can't get over it. She cannot fucking get over it. Like, they're filming what? Okay, also another question for you guys. Another question for you guys, as if we're in this together, okay? Because I'm having a hard time getting through this. My brain is so scrambled with all the different, I just don't understand. And I like to understand. And I like to be able to understand where everyone's coming from, except for the obvious people that are just nuts. But I just can't. I just don't understand what's happening. But if Ariana were to have gotten her own place, she would have had to go look for places. She would have had to go find something. She would have had to have enough time to put some money, to put a deposit down and all this stuff. Then she would have had to move and all this. I feel like, when did she have time? Honestly, she was doing all these jobs and booking things. And I just was like, when would she have had all this time to do it? It still takes time to move. And so she could have, I guess, got an Airbnb, but she has the pets are hers. Tom could have left. He could have left. But the fact that he didn't leave just makes it a shitty situation. So it's like, moving isn't that easy. And in Lala's case, she moved like in the middle of the night, basically. Like she like escaped where she was. But she never would have to have gone back to take ownership of the house. I understand why Ariana's staying in that home, because the way Tom feels like it's his house, not her house, is just sick. You know, what he did. And he's like, I use it. When he said that, I use it. It's a house. I bet you do. So does Ariana. So I'm over it. I'm over it. Katie and Schwartz talk outside. And Katie, I don't know, Katie was just being really funny. She's like, I'm just trying on the Schwartz pants and walking a mile in them. And then she comes clean. She's like, look, I think I might have been in an extreme fuck it mentality. Like, Tom disrespected me for years, so why not? And Schwartz hates it. He's like, oh, well, okay. Well, Max is literally my best friend, and you fucked him, and you roasted me to oblivion after I kissed Raquel. And she was barely in the friend group. Again with this. No, she wasn't barely in the friend group, dude. What are you talking about? She was not barely in the friend group. Okay. Katie goes, because prior to that, I asked you one thing. If you want to be friends, you couldn't even respect one wish, one simple wish. And he goes, that's such a flimsy agreement. I'm sorry your feelings are you're hurt. I truly am. And Katie goes, that's why we got divorced, because everything I felt was flimsy to you. My feelings never mattered. And he's like, oh, Schwartz is like, oh, you're making sense. You're talking about feelings. You're getting directly to the point. Can we just like, all right, can we just agree? Okay, we're cool. We're cool, right? Can we just like shake? Can we just stop diving into the past? She's like, you just brought up that I got mad at the Rachel thing and that therefore I'm responding. But then he's like, I want to be friends. I want to like go to dinner. And she's like, I don't want that. And he's like, well, maybe not dinner, but like, she's like, I don't want that. I don't want to be your friend. Okay. He's like, whatever. Well, back inside, Ariana is telling the Anne story to Brock and James, who they'd asked. And Ariana, as Tom is walking in, she goes, well, then the attempted dog murderer was eavesdropping. And Tom tries to be like, Ariana, you haven't emptied the litter box for your cat in 2 years. And Ariana's like, I literally emptied the litter box when you were out of town like a week ago, which, you know, is still, I'm like, only a week ago? I do it every day. But anyway, she goes, you want to come at me about the litter box and you tried to kill my dog? Do not go in my room. It is the only safe space I have in that home because you fucking wrecked it. And I'm like, none of this is None of this is making anyone like Lala or Sheena be like, he did. Well, I mean, Sheena is surprisingly making sense in the after show this time. Surprisingly. But Lala's not. Lala is like telling her stupid, didn't you get a Glad deal? Didn't you get a trash bag deal? She's doing all that bullshit. Um, but I would think that when Ariana says, you wrecked my home, that this is a chance for Lala to be like, that's right. Ariana's the one who's been wronged. Tom fucked it up, but no, that's not going to work. You're being too angry, Ariana. Fucking Lala of all people to say that. Tom's like, Ariana's taken a very quick jump from accident to dog murderer. Maya's okay. There's no dead dog in the situation. That's why she said attempted. Okay. She said attempted. Now, I know there is big debate, Lala included. Like, why would you have trash there? When we listen to the Lala podcast, you'll hear Heather McDonald be like, well, she didn't want to go downstairs and throw out the trash because he might have been in the kitchen. Like she closed the door though. I've said it a million times. My sister's dogs eat everything too, like everything. So we know the rules. And so if in one of the rooms you don't have time to clean it up, you just shut the door. That's the rule, you know? And so since no one was supposed to be going in her room, she assumed that it would stay like that. And I agree with what Kristen says in the after show, which is he's just so self-absorbed and unaware. And to me, that is proof he does not give a fuck about Maya, because if he was home and didn't wonder, where's Maya for hours, that's crazy to me. If I'm at home and I haven't seen the dog that I live with for hours, I'm wondering where the fuck that dog is. But he doesn't really care about the animals. I'm gonna play the clip from the after show though later, because when he talks about his bond with Maya, it's weird. I'm like, are you sure? He doesn't really have that capability, I don't think. So yeah, no. But anyway, Ariana goes to say second of all, and he interrupts and she goes, second of all. So good. Second. Sorry, Tiger. Ooh, Tiger, you got even fatter. I need to stop giving you wet food. Meanwhile, outside, Katie is like, finding out that you made out with Sheena wasn't great. And Schwartz is like, it was an accident. Okay, sir. Okay. But then back inside, Ariana is talking and Tom is interrupting and she says, my lawyer will be dealing with you, not me. And Tom goes, then tell your lawyer to be professional and respond to my email. Oh, your very professional email that you sent. Yes, respond to that, because the very professional, no appraisal was done. This ballpark figure I've come up with, there's no itemized anything. It's just, here's the cash payout. You're welcome. I will generously allow you to stay in the home while you look for a new place. Yeah, he's going to actually respond legally, according to legal things, sir. It's not just going to be a document that he typed up, okay? Tom harps on the lawyer not getting back to his email. And Ariana's like, my lawyer will be sending a very well thought out response. And he goes, wow, 2 months? It better be. And she's like, at that point, it's like, oh, now you have the nerve to give me attitude. Now you have the fucking nerve to give me attitude. And then she goes, why are you even talking to me? You left the back door open when I came home from SUR the other night. It was wide fucking open. Another example of your carelessness and your callousness when it comes to my house. That was my fucking dream house and my fucking children. The way he goes, your children? And then she goes, get the fuck away from me, get the fuck away from me, get the fuck away from me, get the fuck away from me. Never fucking look at me in the eye again. Never. But okay, so throughout the years that they were together, I'm sure this happened constantly, where Tom was oblivious and did something like leave paintballs on the floor, knowing that a dog will get to them. Because my sister's dogs eat everything. My sister's dog Rex ate like paint thinner or something. They've had to take Rex to get his stomach pumped, I think twice. Because that's the kind of, like, I don't know there's probably training you can do. My sister admits that she's like, oh, my dogs are not trained. They are menaces. So she knows this about their dogs. But if Tom is doing shit all the time, like leaving the fucking back door open, when you have animals, it's like, no, 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 you don't do that. And also it's not good for security purposes. People could break in and shit like that. But it's like that kind of stuff when you can't make someone care, it's like, why would you leave the back door open? We have animals and like they need to stay safe. And it's like, I wasn't thinking. Okay, but do you care that you have animals? I don't think you do because I don't think you are capable of caring, you know? Okay? Fuck you, Tom. Fuck you, Tom. Fuck you. And so anyway, so Tom steps out because Ariana's like, don't fucking talk to me. Get away from me. But he opens the door and Schwartz already was like, are they fighting? But then now Tom is out and he yells back in. He's like, don't look at me in the eye. You fucking got everything. And Schwartz is like, see, they were fighting. They were fighting. They were. But I like how Katie's like, I'm not going in there. We can finish this conversation. So Tom gets his 2 purses and he leaves. But on his way out, James kind of walks him out. Tom is like, her dream house for her kids? Really? Yeah, really. We all knew that. Where have you been? We all knew that. We all knew that the one thing Ariana wanted was a home. And she has even said shamelessly, like, he can go fuck off if he doesn't want the house. I want the house. The house is my house. Like, it was her dream. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Lala's dumb interview where she says the whole Maya situation is on Ariana. And throw out your trash. Throw out your trash. Didn't you get a trash bag commercial? Wow. So you're even going to blame Ariana for that? Okay, cool. All right. Schwartz calls Tom, and Tom, of course, takes it to the place of, do you see the rage that comes out of her? That's what I dealt with my whole relationship. Like scary rage all the time. I'll tell you right now, that's not true. That's not true. She got mad at you a few times. I'm sure she got mad often because you gave her a lot of reasons to get mad. But no, not that rage, not that level of rage, not at all. And you also did shit to her, dude. Like, you trying to be like, you see how Ariana treats me? You see how she fucking treats me? No, doesn't work because we know what you did to her. She's reeling. She's livid. She's angry. Her whole entire world has changed. You broke everything. So yeah, she's mad. But he's like, you see how mean and crazy she is? No, that's not how we're not going to do that. No, 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 no. Ariana's going off on how fucked it is for Tom to have locked Maya in the room. And she goes over how, like, she's like, I can have food on my nightstand if I want to, and then close the door like I always do, which I've said a million times is totally allowed. And once again, Lala's like, you guys need to have a productive conversation. What the fuck does that mean, Lala? You mean you want Ariana to what? What do you want Ariana to do? Not be mad? She's mad. But stop asking her to have a productive conversation like it's possible with Tom Sandoval. It's not possible. Why do you guys keep saying that? And Ariana's like, I can't do that. I can't do that with a disgusting, psycho, narcissist, gaslighter, piece of shit person. And then Sheena's like, well, you're going to go home tonight to just the 2 of you in the house. So what are you going to do? There's no one to like mediate. And Ariana goes, set fire to his fucking ass. And Ariana's got a look on her face. We've never seen a look like this on Ariana's face ever. Because she's fucking mad and she feels like the energy from everyone is like, well, poor Ari. Like, what do we do? We're scared of Ariana. She's so mad. What do we do now? I don't know. It's just, and then dumbass Schwartz just goes, how's the pizza? Dana's like, shut the fuck up. In the Peacock version, there's a whole dinner with Schwartz, Tom, and Kyle. And Tom goes off about how lazy Ariana is and they show him emptying the litter box. It was disgusting. I'm not going to lie. Now, look, if Ariana is not good at housework and not good at keeping things tidy, that's not that big of a deal, is it? I know a couple of my friends are filthy, truly filthy people. I'm anally clean for the most part, but like I also let some stuff go, but I don't leave trash out just because that's just not what I do. But if Ariana's just not really great at housework, is that terrible? It's not that terrible, is it? Like people have flaws and that could be one of her flaws. But anyway, that was just in the Peacock version. Brock and Sheena, they talk about how they're doing beach day and Sheena wants Brock to uninvite Tom. And Brock is like, if Ariana can't handle it, then she shouldn't come to things. Excuse you? To be that triggered by somebody, you want to try and control your emotions. And if that's a trigger, figure out how to fix it, because what I saw was not okay. Brock, what do you, why are you chiming in here on this? What's not okay, sir? What's not okay? I don't understand. She's not allowed to scream at Tom. I think she's allowed to scream at Tom, no matter what. But all of you have this goal. And the goal is to have Ariana be cool with Tom in group scenes so that you guys can film comfortably. And I don't know what else you guys want to happen, because that's it. What else you guys want? You guys have to bring something besides that. And none of you are really bringing a lot of story. Lala, where's your fucking story? All your story is like forgiving Tom Sandoval and not liking Ariana. But you don't have anything else going on. You don't have any drama that you're throwing out for us. Sheena and Brock have been giving us a little bit, but that's really tempered. So it is all you got. You guys are the ones relying on this. Katie's the only one showing up for work. Katie's going to start making out with Schwartz's potential new crush. And she's like, no, you don't. I'm going to join in there too. And I can't believe I ever said anything against that move. I felt like it was very for the cameras. When I saw the preview for it, I was like, what? But now that I've seen the way the season has played out, I'm like, you know what? Good. Make Schwartz's life difficult. And Katie's stealing someone. And yeah, I'm into that. Very much into that. So Katie's showing up. Katie's doing her thing. Katie's fighting with people. Katie's having scenes. What are the rest of you doing? Huh? Lala, what the fuck are you doing? Okay. And Brock, why are you telling Ariana to control her emotions? Why? Sheena says she's curious if they actually talked back at the house. Brock goes, who was the one yelling? Wait, hold on. Back to what it just dawned on me when Sheena's like, I'm curious if they actually talked back at the house. Sheena's very concerned that she's going to miss out on Tom's stuff. Like, I feel like she asked that because she's like, I wonder if she talked to him back at the house, if they resolved things so that I could talk to Tom now or something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't trust. There's a motive there. I know that's so minor. I'm nitpicking now. But Brock's like, who was the one yelling? Shut the hell up. So was he. Okay. And also, by the way, when she found out about the affair, when she found the video, Tom wasn't sorry. Tom was yelling at her. Okay. So please, Brock, with this, she's finally done getting walked all over by him. Yeah, Brock calls it. He's like, this is childish. These guys are adults. Shut the. Ugh. So Sheena does actually kind of come correct here. She's like, first of all, she snaps and like, do you want me to explain, or do you want to keep just cutting me off? She's like, do you not realize that you are someone who gets really heated really fast? So who are you to judge Ariana getting upset with someone she hates? And I was like, okay, so Sheena, you do have this in you. Lala's my number one enemy now. Sheena's number two. Okay. Well, Brock is like, just not even, but Brock says that she should forgive him for her own sanity. Give her a fucking second. Okay. I haven't forgiven my ex, and we haven't been together in 7+ years. I will never speak to him. If I ever were to bump into him in public, I would go another direction. Not everybody needs to, but again, this translates to forgive him so she can film. Forgive him so that we can all film together and keep making this show. Okay, I've already talked about this a little bit, but there's a Peacock exclusive scene where James, Allie, James's mom, and Lisa go to dinner, and Lisa and James's mom think Ariana still has feelings for Tom. I'm like, okay, ladies, shut the hell up. But this whole scene is just a scene of them catching Lisa up on all the group tea. So we don't need it. I don't give a fuck what Lisa Vanderpump has to say about any of it. Not even kidding. I don't want to know. Lucinda, who's also the same designer who did Schwartz and Sandy's, who wanted to wring their necks. She comes over to go through the interior design pieces. And Ariana she's like, you paid for a lot of it, mama. And it's crazy to see the inventory of all of this. Ariana wants to have a full list so that her counter offer has no loopholes. Now, that's going to piss Tom off so much because people like Tom love a loophole. So they can be like, what about this? I understand she wants it all so thorough so that there's no arguing because he will argue. And Lucinda says that, she's going to have her. Ariana said she's going to have her lawyer type it up and send it to him. And then Lucinda goes, waiting for him to explode. And then Ariana says, maybe not. And Lucinda pauses and goes, I don't think he has the capacity. And then they both laugh. Because to me, what this proves is that Lucinda hates Tom, hated working with Tom, hated the whole process of Schwartz and Sandy's, but has always loved Ariana and is so fucking excited to get Ariana out of there. However she can help. She's like, I had to work for that asshole, and it was a nightmare. Okay, beach day. James is right. Beach day in LA is such a fucking journey. If you don't live on the west side already, it is, especially from Burbank. Oh my God, because it's so far north. Oh, Burbank is far from everyone. Where James is pretty. Well, I mean, they're in the valley. I forget about those that are in the valley, but Burbank is a little bit far. I do love Burbank. I love it a lot. Very old school, but it definitely is further north than you realize, further north and east. And then the beach is all the way west. And there's traffic, and then you got to walk on the sand. I have one beach I go to, and it's like you park your car and you're right on the water pretty much. It's like a little bit of sand, because that's the part I can't stand about the beaches in LA. You got to walk across this horrifying sand. I hate the sand walk. It's the worst part of it. Peacock version, unless I missed it when I watched it on the regular one. Katie and Ariana are going to hire Anne to help with the sandwich shop stuff, because she was talking about how she has to file for unemployment. That was just in the Peacock, right? Maybe I missed it. Actually, you might be like, that was fully in the regular one, Emily. Tom and his stupid stripy top show up. James literally draws a line in the sand. Schwartz tries to jokingly bring up the Max thing to Katie and says, he's like, we're the same. We're the same. Which, no, what? No. He says, and then it's really bad. He goes, from a statistical perspective, I was faithful. 12 years, 365 days. What is that? 4,380. It's almost like nil. And then he's like, sorry, bad joke. Yeah, really bad fucking joke, dude. Really bad fucking joke. Katie asks Sandoval, did you know about this kiss in Vegas with Sheena? He says, that's something I didn't know about. Well, then they flash back to Schwartz telling Lala that he's like, I didn't even realize I told Sandoval when it happened. But like we were ripping on each other and he reminded me recently. So, how does Schwartz seriously not go when Tom says no? How does he not go, yes, you did? Schwartz is like, we just need to get through this day. But like, he's lying right in front of you, lying. Sheena goes, I buried the memory and I didn't even want to think about it. But bitch, you brought it up to Schwartz last couple months prior to this. So please, with the lies. Sheena goes, almost every guy here has been flirting with me at some point, including to Tom, you included. And Sandoval goes, it's more like recipient of flirting, which it's like, so Sheena, you were hitting on Tom. You were. Interesting. Brock then goes, is that what you told Raquel when you had your whole thing? Okay. Like, Brock, why would you do that? That's fucked up. And then Ariana's like, can you have this conversation not in front of me? Because it's fucking disgusting. And then Sandoval goes, well, that's on Sheena. And Ariana goes, that's on you, not Sheena. It's like, I didn't bring it up. Sheena did. Katie's not, here's the thing about Katie. This bitch is not fazed by any shit in this group. She can sit there smiling. She's like, yeah, fuck you. So she's like, anyway, she tells Sandoval about Anne, Tom denies firing her and says, you just told her to take a few days off. Now, the Peacock version showed more. Katie tells Tom she met his new assistant, Craig, today. And then she goes, so Anne doesn't work for you anymore? And Tom goes, I'm not sure yet. He's just working for me right now, but we'll see. I'm still figuring things out. I did not fire her yet. And Sheena's like, yet? Like you're going to? And then Tom's like, I don't know. And Sheena goes, well, you might need to have that conversation with her because she thinks she's fired. And Tom goes, I know I need to have that conversation. She's my assistant. I'll take care of it. And Sheena goes, your assistant is looking for other work right now. She thinks that she's fired. And Tom goes, I like literally texted her today. And then Katie's like, well, fuck me. The reason I'm doing this line for line is because I know that some of you don't have access to Peacock. And so this is for the people who didn't get to watch the scene. So I'm like literally just giving you line by line so that you know it. Katie goes, I could really use some help with stuff. And Tom's like, give me a second here with my employees. It's been one day. There's protocols and HR that need to happen. And Katie goes, HR? You have a human resources department? And Tom goes, yes, it's a business. I have workers' comp. I have insurance. Well, I would like to point out that the way you handled Anne was not according to California labor laws, sir. It certainly was not. Because technically, did you suspend her? Is there a written warning? What was the suspension for? You want to get real technical? You want to talk about HR? I'll beat you every day because that's not HR, sir. Now, this is the regular airing. Back to that. James asks about Anne and Maya and asks Ariana, do you feel safe with Maya now at the house? And Ariana says, now I do, yes. And Schwartz is like, you guys are both great dog and cat parents. And I'm like, Schwartz, you should just shut the fuck up. Because Ariana goes, well, I'm a dog and cat parent. And Tom, of course, doesn't agree. James is like, are you going to fight for her? No, he's not. He's not going to fucking fight for her. He doesn't want a dog. He doesn't want to care for a dog. He's never taken her on walks or whatever. And Ariana goes, I paid the adoption fees, so she's my dog. And then Tom pulls his bullshit. Well, if that's true, according to you, that you paid for her adoption, then shouldn't the person who found the house and like my people did the loan? Ariana's cutting him off. Like, don't speak to me. Stop speaking to me. And this part is kind of ludicrous. Like, I do wish that one of them would have been like, Tom, stop. Don't. Tom, stop. Stop. Because instead, what happens is when Ariana's like, stop speaking to me, they're like, oh my God, Ariana, oh my God, you're being so crazy. Ariana, well, what'd you expect? Tom has an interview where he says, I really thought we would be even more civil than like Katie and Schwartz. How? You betrayed her. How? Lala shows up late, and Ariana is in the midst of still being upset, and Lala's like, already? Ariana's like, just keep him away from me. And Brock goes, he's been away from you. He's been over here with his tail between his legs all summer. No, he's not. He's acting like that. He's acting like the victim. And you're falling for it. And Ariana goes, and none of you guys put him in check, and it's really fucking disrespectful. And James finally cracks. In his interview, he says, I'm not saying Ariana has to forgive and forget, but I think it would be good if she released some of it. Now, if James says something like this, then I'm apt to, because, okay, when I covered, I think when I covered Call Her Daddy, when she was on Call Her Daddy, I remember saying that there is some work that I hope Ariana does do, because as much as I know she's in therapy and all of that, it wasn't just this one betrayal with Tom. There was a lot of layers to this relationship and a lot of stuff she put up with that she shouldn't have put up with, and that she did put up with, and that went against her own morals and there's another word that I'm looking for, her standards, her principles, whatever. And she found ways to make it okay with Tom because she loved Tom. But that says a lot, right? Like that needs to be analyzed and dissected. And I think part of what's happening with Ariana is not wanting to admit that to herself. Maybe I'm having an epiphany right now, so just roll with me here. It's like that isn't easy, and I can kind of relate to that too because I put up with some crazy shit and just it's hard to accept, like, why did I do that? What was that about for me? There's I have some sort of responsibility in this. Not necessarily having responsibility in being cheated on, because I don't think she doesn't that's not her fault. That's Tom's fault. All Tom's fault. Fuck you, Tom. But maybe what James is saying is like it's just all anger still and there doesn't seem to be any progress. I don't know. I don't know. I just if when James says it, I'm a little more apt to be like, maybe there's something here to it. Because I said when I was, talking about this in the very beginning, like she's got a lot of work ahead of her. I was concerned when she got into a relationship so fast. I'm like, how? How have you worked through any of this yet? How have you figured out your part, what you did, and how you don't want to be with another person like that? But I've heard nothing but good things about this guy. I think what it more for me was like, oh, really? She got into another relationship already? It just kind of made me like, I'm saying the thing I never say out loud, but it made me kind of like a little grossed out. It was like, already? That's just a lot. Why would he want to be with somebody who's gone through all of this? Like what? Why would you want to be around that person? It feels like way too much to take on. And there have been some blinds about Dan, but I mean, they're blinds. Anyone can say anything. But it was like something about how he does this with women where he like gets with women and like, I don't know. Basically, he's a player. But I just would think that she wouldn't have had any ability to even open herself up to that. And what did she reflect upon with Tom? Because you made the choice to stay with him for a while, and that's something that we do need to examine when we move on from relationships. And that's something I'm still examining about what I like when I'm talking to my therapist about my breakup. I'm like, why? Like I beat myself up because what the fuck was I doing? Why did I stay? Why did I put up with that? Because the shit that you do when you're in a bad relationship, it's just ugly, ugly, ugly. And so her not working through that, I feel like she's afraid to find maybe any responsibility because it'll be maybe misconstrued as like, oh, so you had it coming kind of a thing. Because she didn't have it coming. That is not true. Like, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying that it wasn't simply the cheating. Tom had a lot of other really big flaws that she overlooked, you know? I hope that makes sense. I hope I don't get in trouble for that. But Ariana goes back. She's like, the men need to be checking him because he's such a misogynist. He requires men because that's who he respects to put him in his place and tell him, dude, you got to sit there and fucking take it because you're the one who did wrong here. And Brock goes, you think he's not taking it? He left. Okay. He's not taking it though because he was sassing her back. He left to go to the next spot. It's not like like Lala tries to step in, but Ariana straight up is like, stop playing devil's advocate. And Lala is still on her bullshit that Ariana needs inner peace or whatever. And I guess that's kind of what I just did, didn't I? Oh dear. Oh no. Am I being as bad as them? Ugh. I hope that's not what I feel. Ariana's like, he's never going to be sorry or remorseful. And you keep shoving him down my throat. What do you expect? What the fuck do you expect? Okay. Okay. That was the end of that episode. Reminder, if you are not already subscribed, to please subscribe to the show, whether you're watching over on YouTube, whether you're listening on a podcast. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notifications. And on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, please don't forget to like this video and give a little comment below. I've got a great community over in the YouTube arena, and it would just be lovely if I could grow it. I did hit 10K subscribers. I'm very proud of that. It took a long time. Many people who came after me have far surpassed me, but I got to 10K. God damn it. But please subscribe. I am actually going to take a little break, regroup, and then I'm going to come back and we'll do the after show, Lala's podcast. I have to do the Valley, but I'm wondering if this is just going to be so long, I might just make the Valley its own episode. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But BRB. We're back and Penny's here. Yay. So the fucking after show, that goddamn after show. Do I do the after show first or do I do all the clips first? Yeah, let me do the after show. It's really hard because there's so much to discuss in real time that coincide with things. So, but we'll just do the after show first. I'm really disgusted with how much Lala is feeling herself with the whole "didn't you get a trash bag" deal of it all. I'm like, you're just giving away how jealous you are. Like, what does it matter that she got a trash bag deal? That's pure hateration right there. So I'm going to use a post that I made about the after show because I actually pulled a ton of clips and made a whole Instagram analysis post, like a bunch of carousels. It took me hours, but there was just so much to break down. So I'm actually going to use that as my guide because I took notes for the after show only on a couple things, but these were the parts that stood out to me. So James, when it comes to the hookup, the Brock and Katie hookup, I'm sorry, I take it back. I'm so sorry. The Max and Katie hookup. Ew. James is so here for Katie, but Brock is in, the second after show that they did where they included the Valley people. Brock and James end up in their after show set up together. And I don't like that because I'm like, I don't need you talking to Brock. Because Brock kind of like loops himself in with James at one point. We'll get to it. But James loves Katie and Brock clearly does not. So watching Brock's face as James is like, it's kind of legendary, actually. It's kind of legendary that she did what she did because, hey, he was making out with Rachel, whatever. And Brock, anytime they cut over to him, he's like, yeah, she's great. And at one point, James says, I'll play it. I'll just play the clip.
After a revenge bang, no one goes around the town screaming, "That was revenge!" No one does it, okay? It's like unspoken, okay? So it happened. So let's just leave it at that, right? No one needs to say if it was a revenge bang. Of course it was. I don't judge Katie for that at all. Look, even if it was a revenge bang, good on her. Do you know what I mean? Like, Schwartz did make out with Raquel, and it was like right in front of everyone. If I was Katie, I'd be pissed too. And knowing Katie's personality, she's very, she's kind of badass, a little fiery. She's gonna be pissed, She's gonna be pissed.
Brock, first of all, encouraged Schwartz and Raquel to make out. So Brock's face gets weird when James says that. Brock's like, yeah, that was my idea. And I still don't see what the big fucking deal was. But then also when James goes, you know how Katie is, she's a little fiery and Brock expects James to say something else. But then James goes kind of badass. And he's like, yeah, that's not what I was going to say, but okay. He's not here for Katie. As we know, the after show now has Brittany and Lala in their setup together. Brittany really, because she wasn't there for it, she starts off by saying, well, the whole anger thing with Ariana, how mad she was at Tom with the dog and everything. She's like, well, this was just a few months after it happened. You guys started filming really soon. So she was still reeling. And you can feel Lala's face change. And I'm sure the producers' energy changed because they're the ones who doubled down, tripled down on this whole Ariana's being so difficult sort of storyline. Like, yeah, we get what he did. We get what he did was bad, but like, why are you living with him? This is absurd. All this bullshit. So I feel like in my gut, I feel like Brittany says the second part of what I'll play because she feels their energy. So I'm going to play it and then.
Well, I mean, you guys also filmed like not far after. Like now it's been a little bit more time, but I mean, she was still reeling from everything at that moment. That makes me feel sad for her because that feeling of like hatred and stuff is just so much and it almost does more damage to yourself than to like try to let things go.
You can just tell that like she's on 100 still. There's been no like come down from the anger.
For those watching, the reason and maybe listening, I'm not plugging in the actual video because I don't want to get hit with the copyright. So I'm just playing it kind of janky like this. Sorry. I usually like to pipe it in, but I will get copyright dinged. But so do you see what I'm saying? Like she's saying something that's really logical and makes sense, which is, guys, you didn't give her a lot of time to like recover. But then she can feel the energy from Lala. So she's like, but I mean, yeah, like I feel bad for her because having that anger inside of you is hard. And then Lala's like, yeah, exactly. So I feel like they're really leaning this storyline a certain way. And when I play the Heather McDonald on Lala's podcast clips, you'll see what I'm saying too. Because Heather McDonald tries to be very compassionate towards Ariana, and Lala is, we'll get to it. Okay. We'll fucking get to it. All right. We have so much ahead of us, guys. I've got like 15 full minutes of clips that we got to listen to together. How am I going to, it's be a 4-hour episode. Okay. Sheena actually made some sense here. When Sheena starts talking about the Tom and Ariana stuff, my whole body kind of tenses because I'm like, she's going to say something stupid now. Here it comes. But the whole way through this, I was like, okay, I'll allow this. So I'm playing this because it's only fair. It's only fair to Sheena.
It hurt me to see that she was still hurting so much and is still so angry. And that's a reason why I do try to figure out a road to forgiveness in whatever way, is because I don't like feeling that rage inside of me. But he wasn't doing anything to help take that anger and rage away from her. You know, he's doubling down. He's making excuses. He's weaponizing her mental health. He let the dog in and wasn't paying attention. There's so many things. So I get where even if she had already had months of therapy and work to get past the affair, then this happens, all that shit's out the window because he has now done something new to hurt her and their animal, you know, in the crossfire.
So, see, she kind of made some sense. When she said, he's not doing anything, I think that's where she started. She goes, he's not doing anything. And I'm like, where are you going with this, Sheena? But then she says, to make it better. He doesn't really, I'm like, oh God, thank God. Because this is going to be bad. Katie and Ariana in their setup, they are unapologetic. And so I can see the audience not connecting to them and finding them to be too bitchy. This has always sort of been both of their notes, I would say. Both Ariana and Katie's note from people is that they just seem like they don't fucking care when, you know, it's like, or not that they don't care, they just seem so mean. Let's put it that way. They seem so mean. But when production clearly says like, so how do you feel knowing that like it was hard for Sheena to see you that upset or whatever. This is how Ariana responds.
Like, whatever. Whatever. Being butthurt about me being mad about that, like, okay, you can choke. He would love for everyone in the world to think that I'm the big bad wolf, and he's just like, poor little Red Riding Hood had to put up with her for so long. Like, I don't do shit. I just, you know, in the 9 months since we broke up, managed to write a book, be third place on Dancing with the Stars, get my ass on Broadway. You know, like, yeah, I don't do shit. Just did all that.
What'd you do today? Get your nails done?
He would love for me to be run away out of this group and out of this town and out of him having to answer for his own actions. He would love that. He would love nothing more. For everyone to find out what a big old bitch I am.
Yeah, I'm sorry. She kind of slayed that. But I can see people who just don't like her or people who don't like Katie having issues with that. I personally don't. I personally am living for it. Personally love it. I've laughed at Katie saying, what'd you do today? Get your nails done? I swear she's got like a little buzz. She's kind of like slurs it. What'd you do today? Get your nails done? She gives good shade. Okay, let's see. The next thing. Okay. This is how, guys, the way Tom talks about the animals. Okay, I'm going to play this clip and we're going to talk shit about it.
Kitty, I understand because she had Kitty since she was a kitten. She found her in New Jersey in a parking lot. I did really take care of Kitty a lot, though. We got Maya together and I named her. And Maya and I have had such a very special relationship, and we would cuddle in the morning. We played hide and seek, played all kinds of games. And I love Maya. So just, I don't know. I mean, because she paid for I paid the bills for the house for the past, 9 months. Do I own the house now? That'd be cool. I don't know, what is adoption fee, like $300? $400? I miss her. I miss her a lot. I miss running around with her, playing with her.
That's rich considering you tried to murder her.
Does that not sound like someone who's just making things up? I don't believe him for a second. I don't believe for a second that man really meant that he played. What did he say? We played together. What did he say?
We would cuddle in the morning. We played hide and seek, played all kinds of games. And
Played all kinds of games. Played hide and seek. Yeah, she's a dog. Yeah. But that sounds like that's all you had. You're like, we played all kinds of games because that was it. We just one time played hide and seek. But whatever. We're moving on. This is on the topic of Anne. I start this clip making fun of how Jax is asking these questions and listening to the answers like it's the first time he's heard this information. It's just such bad acting on Jax's part because he's like, you've had this conversation offline. I don't know why he's setting this up, but this is going to be a two-parter of the clips, okay?
Can I ask one question? Did you make her sign an NDA?
yeah,
Oh, thank God. That's the smartest move you've
she
ever
started
made.
a podcast.
What?
It's called I Sign an NDA.
So if she signed an NDA, what could she possibly talk about?
I don't know, but she's about to get a letter from my lawyer.
Oh, my God.
It's annoying because she's low-key saying things that are not true. I saw in some interviews, she's like, oh yeah, I would go there and Ariana would already be up and doing stuff because she's always busy and Tom's doing this and I have to do that. I'm just girl, you know that Ariana wouldn't leave her bedroom till at least 1 PM. I was always up, always made her coffee, did this. I went to bed after her, I woke up before her every day.
Okay, no, sir. But what cracks me up is he's like, I see she's going on these podcasts. She's lying, saying things like Ariana's so busy and I'm not. And Jackson Schwartz are like, well, we see how busy she is. She's literally on Dancing with the Stars. So, what? I know he's trying to paint her as this lazy sack of shit, but I'm thinking she was just miserably depressed in the relationship. And Tom, I said it at the start of last season, Ariana looks like Tom has sucked the life out of her. Period. Her whole face changed when everything went down. Her face was it was almost like lymphatic drainage happened. Her face was even though she was, miserable. But Tom being she's making all this up while Schwartz and Jax even are no, dude. So then I brought this up already. I don't need to play the clip, but Tom's what makes me so upset is that Ariana, actually, wait, no, I do want to play this because this is where he lists the shit she does.
It's annoying to me because Ariana never wanted her around. She would be annoyed that Anne was over. Not so much at Anne, but the fact that somebody was over. And she'd be like, why do you need an assistant? Why? And I'm like, because she does things for me. She waters all Ariana's plants, keeps everything stocked in the house. It hurt. It made it seem like she just was very publicly, going to Katie and Ariana, of all people. That's a huge, I feel like a conflict of interest. It seems like a betrayal.
Well, when he says betrayal, he takes it too far. Conflict of interest, I will give him on some level, but not betrayal we can't do. Sir, you have no business saying the B word. You can't say the B word, sir. What are you talking about? You don't get to say that. This is Brock talking about, this is what I was saying earlier about how Brock found his loophole into more screen time, and that's being the guy that production could pressure into trying to get everyone to include Tom. But he keeps trying to loop James in, James was in on it too with him, and being we felt that Tom should be forgiven, and James wasn't a puppet like you are acting, sir. And James actually has a connection to the group, and he's still for the girls. So you just are a fucking misogynist pig. Period. End of story.
Sheena wanted to uninvite Sandoval to the beach, and you convinced her not to. to let him still be invited. Why?
I think for James and I, we kind of like, whatever, we're over this stuff. We're going to move on with our lives. But I think it's just trying to get the rest of the group to catch up, which is difficult when they don't talk, when they don't communicate. And the only time they communicate is when we bring everyone together to talk. But in the mind of, for the sake of this group, everyone needs to start communicating. And I was annoyed that Tom didn't try and do this before Tahoe. Then we go to Tahoe, we do that. And now coming out of Tahoe, no one wants to have these conversations. So it's like, I'll encourage as much as I can and I'll push for that. But if no one wants to have it, I did my part, I'm out. I can only lead a horse to water. I can't force it to drink.
That is right there to me. I felt like he was telling the producers, I did everything you asked me to do. I can't make miracles happen. Okay? I can't make miracles happen. I need you guys to recognize the hard work I did put in, though. He sounds like he was like, I got text messages and emails and all this shit from production asking me to do the impossible. And I did my best, but I couldn't make it happen. But when it comes time for renewing contracts, please don't forget me. Okay? Please don't forget me. The rest, though, in this post that I put together is just how much I love Jason and Janet, because Jason and Janet in the after show are the only ones who really seem to get it.
Generally speaking, I am a person who likes to bridge gaps between people. But with Ariana and Tom, I'm like, you know what? What he did to me is just at a level where if Ariana doesn't want to be around him and she doesn't want her friends around him, like, totally get it. And if you want to hang out with him, then you have to face the repercussions of her not wanting to hang out with you. I mean, just being around them before everything broke, the way that the three of them would hang out and just be like, I love you, and like always all up on each other, for them to have been hooking up on the side the entire, like for like 7 months, 8 months, 9 months is like sick to me.
He does not seem remorseful, genuinely remorseful. And I think if he found remorse and expressed that, he would be in a much better position with the rest of the group. But it feels like he's really upset by the reaction instead of really being upset by his own actions.
Exactly. Upset by the reactions, not by his own actions. Thank you. I needed to hear that from both of them. I needed to hear that from someone. I thought it was especially interesting to hear Jason say, from a different perspective, getting some different perspective, someone who wasn't on the show. And even he is like, it was just gross because they would be out and like, I love you, I love you, I love you. And it's like, that's what you guys were doing the whole time. So I'm interested by like how brazen it was. So fuck them. Okay, that was the end of the after show stuff that I wanted to pull. Now let's go into some clips. I want to talk about Ariana's brother. Some shit he said. He's also engaged, and that Sheena posted. Whatever. I'll talk about that in a second. But also, Lisa did an interview with Page 6 that I want to play as well. So let's start with Lisa's clip. Let's do that one.
Andy and I are hoping to get a little bit of tea out of you as it pertains to the recently filmed Vanderpump Rules reunion. What we're most interested in, Lisa, is the relationship between Ariana and Lala. Apparently, Ariana eviscerated Lala. They're no longer friends. What is your take on the situation, and are you so heartbroken to see that they're no longer as close as they once were?
Oh, I wouldn't say Ariana eviscerated Lala.
Oh. See, that's what I was confused about, because Lala's got that lethal mouth, which we love. We love her for that. So I was like, was it the other way? Did Lala eviscerate Ariana?
It was very complicated because when we jumped into that, there was a lot of heightened feelings. Still, look, it was very difficult for me, and I talked very honestly about the whole suicide and, of my brother. I didn't go into depth about that, but I talked about how I'd been involved with suicide prevention, and then my brother had committed suicide. And then for Tom to actually saying that he had suicide ideation because he felt the whole world was against him, which it was. When they're talking about it at the Adele concert, Adele is in a break, and the White House Correspondents' Dinner talk about it, and CNN are running. It was too much. So I tried to facilitate some kind of cohesion. But still, Ariana and Tom were living in the same house. So how could you then draw a line and say, guys, you're not allowed to see him when they're living in the same house, even though they would book times when they could go to the kitchen? I mean, look, like I've given you television that you thought over the years you would never see. You'd always say, what the who would do that? You catch him cheating while he's still living in the same house, make an appointment to go downstairs to the kitchen.
No.
I don't know.
So basically, Lala and Ariana were fighting over Ariana sort of spending time with Sandoval.
The reunion goes like this. You start to understand it a little bit. And then when it comes to the end, you're like, woo. It was like a great ending, a great thought out production wise of how they kind of showed the last. But you'll see, it's good.
And do you feel at the end of the reunion we'll understand now why Lala's wasted no time letting the world know about how she feels RE, Katie, and Ariana, not really vibing with them at all?
I don't think Lala ever wastes any time letting anybody know what she feels, which is kind of why we like her. I've always been a big proponent of supporting Lala. I think Lala and James Kennedy have just been a great addition to that show.
Do you think that Ariana and Lala have what it takes to mend their friendship? Do you think there is potential for them to make up?
Have you seen how those dynamics change? They change quicker than most people change your underwear. I mean, you just think, I got this now. That's never going to happen. The lines in the sand, and then they jump over it. So this group is very, they're very outspoken, but also pretty forgiving. I mean, what if you think what we've been through?
That's true. It is kind of like a big family where you're just like, you kind of are like, well, this is my family. We gotta, you can't pick them really. You're just kind of with them through it all. So hopefully they can make
They've grown up together. People, that was the magic of the show right at the beginning.
All right, couple things. They asked a very pointed question, which was, is it true that there was this big altercation? And Lisa obviously can't say outright who she's more in favor of, but it's very clear in her response that she's way more in favor of Lala, because her explanation of it is giving this whole like suicide. She's like, well, you have to remember the suicide prevention is very important to me. And she's still living in the same house as him. How did that segue? I don't understand. Like, so she's already kind of like setting it up and trying to like defend herself or something. So I think whatever Lala says about her thoughts on things are the same thoughts that Lisa must have. Them living in the same house, for some reason, I don't know why that is so upsetting to them. What do they think is happening? It's almost like they think Ariana is pretending to be mad at Tom, and she just wants to, and she like goes home and has secret conversations with Tom and is like friends with him or fucking him, or I don't know, but what are you, like, why is this, how have you still not got it? She's been busy. She's out of the house now. It's odd, isn't it? So that was just icky. It was just ick all around. And when they were like, do you think they can make up? She's like, I mean, they can forgive anything. We'll forgive anything. And she also just takes too much credit for the drama on the show. It kind of makes me feel yucky. The way she's like, I've always brought you television that you'd never seen before. Now I'm like, you don't do it, Lisa. The cast has done it all. You are a hindrance on the show at this point. Lisa, you're on my list. Okay, you are on it. All right, now Ariana's brother. I'm going to read this article that came out. When was this? Last week? When was this? Oh, 2 days ago. Excuse me. Hi, Emily. God. Okay, so here is what he says. This is from realityt.com. Why I haven't been talking to my sister and Scandival are two totally separate things. I just want to clarify that I haven't talked to my sister due to me having to stand up for my fiance. While Jeremy only recently got engaged to his fiancée, Rachel, he noted that there have been issues when it comes to Ariana and his fiancée for some time now. He continued, there's been some small microaggressive gestures towards my fiancé, and that's what's led me to not talk to my sister. It's been going on for quite some time. I think that we've just been kind of letting it pass because, of course, I'm always going to have my sister's back. But I was put in a position where I choose my sister, or do I choose God, this is horribly written, or do I choose the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with? As for why there is tension between his sister and his partner to begin with, Jeremy doesn't know the cause. I feel like no one can really put their finger on why that was going on. Ariana is a sweet, kind girl. I love her so much. So it's not always in your face all the time. It's just little slight things that maybe not everyone would notice. Okay, so to say microaggressions is a big thing to say. If those were happening, obviously Ariana should answer for that. However, part of me thinks that maybe she doesn't like the fiance for reasons that may be valuable. Let's not forget, Ariana's brother had a wild relationship before he moved out to LA. It was wild. The woman he was with was like way older than him. And I think that alone, it was a big age difference that it was alarming. And he ended up, I think the police were called because he was allegedly being violent. But when I read the article, I have to find the article I read, but what I remember finishing the article and thinking, I don't know, this sounds like the woman was just nuts and took advantage of this young kid. And like, there was all kinds of drama, like with her own kid and Jeremy. It wasn't great. Her children and Jeremy were the same age. So it just felt like a really ugly scenario. And I didn't want to judge it totally based on like the headline or whatever. So I read through the lines and I thought, okay, maybe he just had this horrible relationship. So maybe his track record for partners is not necessarily great. And maybe Ariana's like, I don't love this person for you. I don't know. I know that Ariana's not addressing this in public, that's for sure. But after this comes out, whether it was before or after, I don't know, Sheena's posting on her stories with her brother Jeremy and the fiance, like, congratulations, popping bottles, celebrating. And we already got the interview that he did at the VPR. What was that, for the Valley? I don't remember what that was. I talked about it on my wrap up either last week or the week before. But in case you missed it, he was on a podcast last month. He'd gone, I think it was the Valley premiere, and someone interviewed him at the premiere. And he said, I reached out to her in December, just basically saying, I love you so much. I would love to talk to you soon. Then she never opened it or responded. So I tried. So she's mad at her brother, clearly. I think she's pissed off at him because she loves her brother. She has defended her brother. But he went on to say, I haven't heard from her and I would love to hear from her when she can. I know she's super busy and I'm extremely supportive of everything that she's doing and everything that she's accomplished, but I miss her and I would love to hear from her. Now, he hugged Sandoval. That was also the big thing. And he said that their issues were water under the bridge. Jeremy does want it to be clear that he is on Ariana's side. And he did say, that's my sister. She changed my diapers. She loves me very much. She's always kind of seen herself as my protector. And I would say most certainly we could get to a point of being closer. That's kind of what I'm yearning for. Neither one of us is very good about communicating our feelings, which is why we need to just have a raw, organic talk. So there's just more to this story, but so that's how it starts, where we're like, oh, excuse me? But then he goes on to say, look, what it was is that microaggressions towards my fiance, who I believe she's Latina of some, I don't know if she's Mexican, I can't remember. So saying that Ariana was throwing microaggressions at her is a big statement, very big statement. And Sheena hosting the little congratulations party at her place is also a choice. So I don't know what to feel about it. I feel like Ariana has legit reasons to maybe not be happy with her brother or her brother's fiance. I see, as much as Ariana may be seeming irrational to people, she's always been pretty solid for the most part. So I feel like if it's something happening with her brother, it might be something beyond that. I don't know. But I don't like that he continues to do interviews and continues to talk about her, because it's like putting himself, it's almost like he's trying to get himself back in the spotlight. He's like, I wasn't in this season. So, hey guys, don't forget I'm around. That's the vibe. I got. Okay, should we get into Lala's podcast? Because like I said, I didn't really want to listen to this. I didn't want to listen to it because I was like, I just don't have the energy for this. I don't have the energy to hear Lala say more ignorant shit. But there's some stuff that I think we should dissect together. Okay, I'm gonna play it.
It is weird, and it would be annoying if you were Kristen's really good friend.
Yes.
And then you acted sympathetic to the breakup of Katie and Schwartz, and then you weaseled your fucking vagina in there, and now you're on the show with a mic pack. But I don't blame the producers for putting a mic pack on her. Because,
you have to.
Because she actually is in the group.
Yes.
And like, that's all fine. But
This is about Joe.
how annoying that like, you're like, really, bitch, you know?
But I think that's the word, annoying.
Yeah.
I find her, and I could be up in the night, but I just look at her and their interactions and I go, this is a human that is harmless. She's too quirky. I mean, I think
she's like an inflatable arm man.
Yeah, and I think I say in one of the episodes, I always talk about how vaginas don't just fall on dicks, and I say in this case, I think a vagina may just have fallen on a dick.
Knowing both
There
of them,
just doesn't seem like there's much thought. It's like we just do, which can be dangerous. People who don't think things through, it gets a little scary. But like I look at her and I've spoken to her briefly and watched their interaction. I'm like, this is not someone.
Well, it's not malicious intent.
I don't see that.
Now, listen, obviously things are edited, but when I was watching, I think the previous episode where they go on the swans in the water.
Yeah.
And I just felt like you think she's, okay, maybe she's not out to ruin someone's life, but she's a thirst bucket. I'm sorry. She's dying to be on the show, which is okay. Who doesn't want to be on the hottest show on TV? That's okay. But the fact that she comes and she's like, did I ever tell you my turtle story? So I'm like, okay, so now you're coming with like bit.
Just to dissect that. Why is Lala forgetting the part that Joe helped cover up the affair? Wouldn't you think Lala, scorned woman who was being cheated on by Randall all the time, no one told her, you would think that she wouldn't be cool with that type of person. The person who's willing to sneak someone around, like sneaky. So this next part of this clip, I'm chopping things together. This took me forever to do too. I don't know why I put this much effort into it when I could have just taken notes, but I wanted us to hear it. I wanted to hear the inflections together. So the second part of this is tacking onto what I just said. Like, hello, she was covering up the affair. Okay.
A lot of things are saying, did Sheena know that if she must have not had Sandoval's or Raquel's. Someone wrote, no, Raquel.
No, that's what the big tell was that Raquel stopped sharing her location with Sheena. And that's when she went to Big Bear. Yes. And that's when Sheena
and again,
was
that's
like,
why Joe
maybe
that's why
something is
Joe
wrong.
can't really be trusted because she was part of that.
Yeah.
And I get it. So was Schwartz. He knew too. I get it. But like, I think people can be skeptical of her. They don't, I mean, come on, like you're going to turn Katie into liking Joe. It's never going to happen. I mean, Katie barely likes anybody. She's certainly not going to start liking Joe. I mean, I love Katie. I think she likes me, but like, she's certainly like, that is what is great about Katie is like, she just fucking tells it like it is. And then.
Or doesn't.
In the workout scene when she was like this and Jenna was like, do you love it or something? And Katie was like, no. I was like, I feel you.
No, I would fall over dead if there was something that Katie was like, I really enjoy this. I'd be like, enjoy?
Okay. So we got a little Katie hate on the end of that one too. Even with the reminder that don't forget, like they were covering up this affair and Joe was complicit in that and totally participated in all this shit. So yeah, Katie isn't going to be the one to be like, hey, Joe, come on into the group. And Lala takes that opportunity not to go, you know what, you're right, but to go, oh, or she won't, or she doesn't like anybody, or she's miserable or whatever. I'm like, why you of all people are not choosing to understand basic logic? Because if this was you last year with the whole Randall of it all, and I'm gonna get to that in a second because there's clips about that too. But how are you who understands seemingly more than anyone what it's like to be cheated on, what it's like to have people lying to you and like a whole enterprise of lies going on. Why would you think that Katie and Ariana would be like, Joe's not that bad? When Ariana is saying she fucking came to Thanksgiving knowing that he was having this affair at my house. What are you missing here, Lala? I don't understand why you're so hell-bent on now being Schwartz's friend, therefore Joe's friend. Like, I don't get what's happening. I don't get it. Okay, this is about Tom, mainly. And there's a lot to pick apart here.
Saying, like, Tom Sandoval is doing too much to be nice.
Doing the most.
Like, let me chase the pizza guy down and see if he gets a packet of ranch in there, Like, and they're like, oh my God, he's doing too much. He's trying too hard.
But you guys, he did that shit even before.
That's what I thought. I remember like saying that, yeah.
It's so interesting to me because the only people that are trying to rewrite history are the fans.
Now, I didn't see that coming. I was like, the fans, what are you doing? Why are you coming for the fan? Ma'am, don't do that. Don't come for the fans. What do you say? We're not rewriting history. If anything, we are too historically accurate at times. You're the one who needs a history lesson, lady.
Yeah. Literally, the only people that are rewriting history right now are fans.
What do you mean by that?
The cast is who say the cast said he's doing too much.
Well, by the way, I have a feeling about my cast too. I feel like I'm after the reunion, I look at them very differently. I very much do. But I can't talk about that yet.
Right. You can't talk about that.
But this is who he's always been. He's always been the guy paying for people's engagement parties. He's been the guy to chase down the man for the ranch. He's doing the same shit he's always done. It's just now he's fucked you over, so it's annoying to you.
Right. But then the real part of her is like
hold on, before I get into this part, this is the second part. Okay. On that note, yes, this is something that Tom's always done. And it is something that Ariana, is now only now disliking. But how come Lala can't go, he's always done this though? Right to her face. Like, why can't she just say that? Like, he's always been this guy. Because I want to know what Ariana would say. I want to know if Ariana would be like, true. Because I think she would. I think she would fucking do that. Because Lala's kind of right. He does like to be the guy who's the hero. That's his thing. He loves to be that guy. So yeah, okay. I'll give you that. I'll allow it. I'll allow that. So yeah, but why wouldn't you just say that in the scene? Like, why wouldn't you say he's always been this guy. This is the guy you were with this whole time. And it used to annoy the fuck out of me too. But instead she's like, Ariana, you're being so mean. Why can't you participate? Why can't you be like, I know, he's so annoying. He always does this shit. This is so him. Instead it's like, wow, Ariana is being so unfair. I don't know. It's like, you don't know I think Lala doesn't know how to be a friend to someone. I think that's the issue. I don't think she knows how to just exist. I don't know. She needs very specific things from friends. She needs a lot of pampering, a lot of applause or something. Or she needs to really be needed, like with Sheena or something. I don't know, because I don't get why she couldn't just connect with Ariana. You clearly know Sandoval. You didn't like Sandoval. You clearly know he's kind of a douche. So not kind of a super douche, but why wouldn't you just be like, yeah, girl, that's how he always has been? Or something. I don't know. Why are you holding on to it like she's doing something wrong?
Then the real part of her is like, I hate you. And I want you guys all to know, he wasn't good with the dog. I'm fucking pissed. It cost me $6,000.
Right. But the dog was also eating shit when they were together. And that's where I'm having a hard time is I'm like, this is not new stuff.
Right.
So the dog ate 500 laxative pills, hair dye.
Then I hear you. The one thing that bugs me about that, don't lock your dog in a room don't lock a dog in a room for 4 hours. To me, that's what threw me.
I think what happened is what she was trying to get across is I don't think that Tom purposely was like, I'm gonna lock the dog so that the dog who's a little off runs havoc in the room.
Yeah.
I think it was sort of like, oh shit, I didn't realize I shut the door and the dog.
Right.
100%.
Dog.
That happened. But then in her defense, again.
Okay, I got to stop this for 1 second. Jess being like, oh, I didn't think about that. I'm like, Jess, how could you? That's obviously what happened. He walked in, is totally unaware of his fucking surroundings, and then just locked the door, and then for hours didn't realize that Maya was in there because he's selfish and doesn't even think to like wonder about something else besides himself. But Jess is kind of dumb.
Left the door
Should have
open.
made sure. I mean,
He could have left the door open, and Anne could have walked by and realized, oh, this is open. And the dog could have been with the takeout container on the ground, and no one even
You didn't even
noticed.
see her.
Right?
Why is a takeout container sitting? Garbage.
well, she doesn't want to go downstairs when he's down there. Like, I get it all. And I get why the cast is like, the friends and everybody are like, but you're doing fine. Like, you've made all this money. You've got the lemonade is like flowing. But at the same time, yeah, she got all these opportunities and she took them, and that's great. But that doesn't mean that she should get over this any quicker. And that, if I'm just playing devil's advocate, because I see what you're saying on the show and I get it. But at the same time, it's like, when I've had stuff like that happen with me, people are like, well, why are you still harping on this thing that this person did to you that was so awful? You are doing great. You know, your show didn't suffer. You are gone every weekend killing it. Like, why can't you just let it go? And
I don't think anyone's wanting her to let it go. You're allowed, I get it. You're allowed to not let it go and go insane on him. Got it.
We are.
The problem I'm having here is you're using all of these words that I very much feel. I can literally sit here and have empathy because I've felt those same things. The difference here is you choose to stay in the house, and everyone can say he should have left. I agree, but we now know who Tom Sandoval is. Tom Sandoval's the guy that has sex with your best friend in your home while you're mourning the death of your grandmother. He's shown. So let's not sit here and be like, I can't believe he wouldn't move out. He's shown who he is. So now we have to take control of the things we can control, which are ourselves. If he's making you feel this way and you're staying in the house, I got questions. If he makes you lose your mind like this and you are traumatized by what he has done, I want to know how you can move on to a new boyfriend in 10 days. I'm genuinely wondering this. Because when someone's using the same words that I'm using and I feel for you, I want you to shed knowledge on how you can stay in the same house and get a boyfriend in 10 days. How do you compartmentalize? I don't understand it.
Here's my question. Why didn't she actually ask that question? Why didn't she actually say, or maybe she did, but why didn't she actually say, how are you able to do it? Because if that's really all she's asking, then Ariana could have answered her and it would have been done. But what she's really saying is, I don't believe she's as traumatized as she's acting. Is that what she's really trying to say here? I don't believe that she is this pissed off or I don't know what the fuck she's trying to get at. I already said my bit about Ariana getting in a relationship. I already said that. I think that it just is an odd choice. That why would you even want a partnership at this point? Like, doesn't that just sound horrible? But that's me putting my own shit on her. You know, that was just me. Everyone handles shit different, but you never, in my opinion, have asked outward, like, if he's so traumatizing for you and triggering for you and everything, how are you physically able to stay in the house? And when she's like, it's not easy. I don't have the money to move right now. I don't have $6,000 to move. You know, whatever those things are, like, you need to get your deposit in. You need to also, she was also paying for something about her and not making any money on something about her because they were renting that space, but not able to use it because of the permit issues. So bleeding money on that shit. So it's been a couple months. She hasn't yet had the chance to do all the moving and stuff, but I feel like all of Lala's questions that she just presented, like, that's all I was saying was I was just asking those things. I feel like Ariana could have answered that or did answer that, and it still wasn't good enough. I'm still not getting what you want from her. I need you to, and I'm glad she says that all the fourth walls are broken in the finale, because I feel like there's just so much we're not understanding. There's so much we're not seeing. And I just need you to say more about that, because is it a production thing? Are producers threatening you guys if you don't do X, Y, and Z? Like, what is it? Okay. Continuing. Continuing.
I'm so happy for the opportunities that Ariana has gotten. She deserves them all. I always say, when someone opens the door, they can't take credit for you taking down the whole house, right? Ariana took over the whole house, and she deserves that. She has proven to be a talented actress, a talented dancer. One has nothing to do with the other. I went on to this season, and when things didn't make sense, I asked questions and was essentially looked at like someone who doesn't support women anymore, someone who's jealous.
Am I supposed to do some big posts like stand down, Ariana fans, don't write Sheena?
Just, I pieced a couple things together. So I'm just going to, that's why they kind of cut weird.
Jealous. Am I supposed to do some big posts like stand down, Ariana fans, don't write Sheena? And she was like, I'm just not saying anything, Hope, because it's such a, at that time, everybody would write an article about everything with a headline, page 6. You know, Ariana says, you know, Sheena didn't mean it. So I get why she didn't do that. But then she did like reach out. So your words were taken in.
Right.
She did see it. But I also saw her being like, you guys are, you know, because you guys are going to start to accept Tom, and he's going to be a good friend to you, and he's going to be sweet and charming. And he's going to run after the car for the ranch. And eventually you're going to have stuff. And then it's going to be like, well, I think we just, you know, let's not even put Ariana through this. We won't invite her. And then before she knows it, she is the one on the outs. And when she said that on the street corner, I'm like, that is very possible. And it's not yours and Sheena's fault for allowing him back in, or James for allowing him back in. It's not your fault, but it might be, she might be the casualty in the end. I think you're like, I wait.
Okay. So about that stuff. So I played the first clip about Lala saying saying that Ariana has deserved, like, she didn't just get wins, she's like deserved the win. So that's, I'm happy she got to say that. But when she dumbs it down and says, all I did was ask questions and got labeled as this person who didn't support women, like that, you didn't just ask questions though. You asked questions and you had judgment, and it's been nothing but like questioning Ariana. I guess why am I having the hardest time understanding Lala? I don't know what it is. I usually can tap in, and I hate saying that because I don't like claim to have that type of ability, but I can usually tap in and understand where someone is coming from. But I don't, it's so convoluted, and she's so mixed up with her messaging, because it didn't feel like she was just asking questions, because asking questions is asking questions. Like, why are you still living in the same house? Well, then she can answer it and you move on. She answered your fucking question. She did it at Allie's astrology night. She answered the money thing. She explained it. Why is that not just the end of it? Why are you still harping on it? And so you didn't just ask questions. You had, and you also at the beginning of the season said you wouldn't fight anyone else's battles. You wanted to stop doing that. And you fought this whole battle for Sheena hard. Like, you fought this battle on Sheena's behalf, like real hard, like no joke. So you did, I don't know. Oopsies. Okay. So now Heather is trying to explain that she, like I said, Heather did a good job of being pro Ariana, but she is Lala's friend. So she had to kind of, I feel like she lied a few times. I feel like she's like, no, you didn't come off as jealous. I'm like, well, or she's like, I love this season, like that kind of shit. But this is her kind of sort of being a little too soft on Lala, but it's Lala's response that I want to get into.
I think you're like, I wasted too much time being so bitter and angry, and I'm never going to get that time back.
No.
So I think in you counseling her, you were like, no one's saying that you shouldn't be hurt. But if there's a way to redirect your energy, you know, so that you don't lose days and you don't lose hours and you don't, you know, like, I think that was like a girlfriend kind of thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that was making it about you. I think that was like, look, I'll never get that year back that I was just like wanting to fucking kill somebody.
Well, I
So-
remember being really appreciative of when my dad died and I was acting out, and she had sat me down and said, like, when my dad died, this is what happened and how the group treated me. And it was almost
Okay, I got to stop right now. She was not at all appreciative of that. In fact, she claims that that was a reason why there was a years-long rift between them, because they finally got to have a conversation about it at some reunion. And Ariana was just like, I'm sorry. I really am. I did not. That was the virtual reunion where she's like, I am sorry. I did not want you to think I wasn't there for you during that time. I was just trying to express this is what I went through. Lala did not appreciate it. It was the opposite, because Lala was in the thick of mourning her father, and she thought she could talk to anybody and everybody, however the fuck she wanted to talk to them. And even at that reunion that year, she did not feel bad. She did not apologize. So this is a straight up lie right here. A lie.
she's showing me a window into what this looks like with this group. And so when I bring things up that I've experienced, I'm hoping that I can show her a window. And there are nuances, right? Like she may have not been as close with her dad as I was with my dad. There's so many nuances. No one situation is the same.
I'm stopping that because I've seen a lot of people getting really mad at Lala for saying, like, for quote, questioning her relationship, Ariana's relationship with her dad. I didn't necessarily get that. And as much, clearly I want to drag Lala for filth and all the way to hell and back. But I think that she was just doing a bad job of giving examples to nuance or something. I don't know. Am I giving her too much credit? Maybe I am.
But like with the dog thing, and she doesn't want to talk to him and have a productive conversation. The only thing I can relate to that is her dog is her baby. Ocean is my baby. There are times where in my situation, I said, I'm never talking to this human again. And then something happens where we have to have a productive conversation, where I have to let every single thing go for the well-being of my daughter. In this situation, the dog almost died. You have to now, while you're in the house, put everything he's done to you aside and have a productive conversation.
What is the conversation, though? There is no productive What's the conversation? There is no... I'm confused. The dog almost died. Is Tom offering to pay for the vet bill? No. As Sheena says in the after show, he should have messaged her and said he needed to go in the room so that, or messaged Anne and messaged her or whatever. And so she could have said, well, if you go in there, please don't let Maya get in there. Like, he should have done that. But what conversation is there to have? For him for him to say, well, you shouldn't have left your trash out, or Maya always gets into stuff. Okay, there's no solution there. Well, I was just in the middle of recording and my program went, disk is full, not enough storage space. So I'm grateful that it got what it got and it didn't just lose all that footage. But sorry for that little choppiness. I had to go through I don't even know how to fix it. I tried a bunch of things, didn't work. So now I'm recording on Zoom. I'll make sure the audio, I'll try to match the audio, but now I've had to switch platforms. So if you notice a bit of a discrepancy or anything like that, that's why. But the show must go on, I tell you. So let me pick up where I was. Bottom line, how do you expect Ariana to have a conversation with Tom about it? Because he's just going to be like, well, Ariana, you shouldn't leave your stuff out. Or like, Maya eats everything, that kind of thing. Like, there's no reason for that. So she keeps acting like Ariana is the problem for why there can't be a productive conversation, but Ariana can't have a productive conversation with him. So also, if Rand did something that was negligent and almost killed Ocean, even if it was an accident, let's see how Rand responded. Because I don't know how did Tom tell Anne to tell Ariana he's so sorry, he can't believe he did that. From all I'm getting is he doesn't even seem concerned. He's like, Maya's fine, okay? Like, she's a dog, like that kind of vibe. So I just don't understand why it's being put on Ariana for not having a, quote, productive conversation. What's the conversation? She knows she's gonna move out. She knows it's coming, okay? She knows that's happening. So what's the conversation with Tom gonna do? He's the same old Tom. He's not going to change. What productive fucking conversation can there be? Okay. What else we got?
That's what was very hard about filming this season.
Yeah.
And I love that you're here because you're a reality head, just like I am, and you know what goes into it.
Right.
And there's the thing I love about Vanderpump Rules is it's so authentic. And all of us have a connection from years ago. And it's this web that like you cannot make up.
Right.
And then something happens where not only does it
Hold on, I'm going to just stop that for a second. If we really want to talk about like bonds and whatnot, like Lala hasn't really been close with anybody, truly, for a while. Like she was really close with Katie, Stassi, whatever, for a minute. But then there was the season they came back. It was the COVID season. Lala was like coming for Sheena and Brock, and she was like tight with Katie. But she never was close with either Tom. She was never close with either of the Toms. But she's like she has turned on friends on this show so many times. And this bond she's trying to pretend she has with Tom Sandoval now, because I feel like I'm gonna just keep playing. Sorry.
the friend group. But we've been filming a television show with each other, most of them, for 11 years. Okay? So how are we going to keep our sanity and our inner peace while also doing what we love to do, which is film a show? It's also responsible for paying our bills. How are we supposed to do that? And so when I came into this season, I think it was hard for everybody. I think a lot of people were living in the comment section. They knew that Ariana had a lot of fans and they were not about to go against her and get the smoke. I think that's where I get glad that I don't look at comments because I'm so terrified of them that I kind of just get to say whatever I want. And had maybe I looked in the comment section, I'd be doing the same thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
And then
Stopping now. Okay, wait. I don't believe for a second that you've just never looked in the comments. I feel like you absolutely looked in the comments last year at some point, because a lot of the stuff that you're doing very, very much feels like what the other people in the comments had been saying, like, you cheated too. What are you doing being so upset? No one did anything to you. Why are you in this? And you guys were so mean to Rachel and so mean to Tom. And I just feel like she's echoing a lot of things that fans did say. And so she's basically talking about Sheena, essentially. She's saying that Sheena lives in the comments and doesn't want to go against her. That's who she's talking. That's the only other person she could be talking about. She could, if she wants to try to say that Katie is doing this because of the comments, you're kidding. Okay, Katie has never, ever pandered to the audience, honestly. Like Katie has taken her licks on this fucking show, okay? What's happened, she's always kind of stayed in the same opinion of things, but right now that's the popular choice. Because for a long time, Katie was just this shrew that needed to get out of the way, let Tom and Tom open Schwartz and Sandy's. Katie has no business speaking on this. Katie has taken her fucking licks, okay? So she can't be talking about Katie. If she's talking about Katie, ridiculous. Sheena is who she's talking about. No one else. Who else could you be saying? So so what? So do you want, okay, so what, I think then also, hold on, now I'm realizing, is what she's saying is Sheena wants to go against Ariana. We already saw her do. We already saw her crying and be like, how come it's never about me? Which was insane. So these girls are not good friends. They're not good friends. Sheena and Lala are not good friends together. They don't bring out the best in each other. They bring out like literally the worst sides of each side of them. Honestly.
Like, I support my friend so much. Like, I've been here, rip his fucking head off. Then all the nuances of living with him still and having questions about how you can get a new boyfriend. But then how the fuck do we make a show that I love so much and it's single-handedly responsible for the opportunities that have come my way for the last 10 years of my life?
Yeah.
You know, where I'm looking around at everybody and I'm like, we're an ensemble cast. Y'all better not, you guys better not fuck this up. Because there's more at stake than just yourselves.
Yeah, and I think that you guys are doing a really good job. I think it's so good.
Well,
I think it's so real and like
Oh,
funny
God.
and good and
No, it's
interesting. Like,
No,
I think
she's
it's better
just
than
lying.
last season.
See?
Season.
Lies. That was just lies. So she's admitting she's admitting that she is concerned for her paycheck. Well, that is clear. That didn't even require explanation. I get that. I get the business of it.
This season, season 11, the finale is where fourth wall is broken and I lose my goddamn mind. And I think there's going to be a shift with my cast. I actually know there is because I've already lived it. And there's going to be a huge shift, I think, with the audience. And I will be staying off of socials and telling my team I don't want to know shit because I lose my goddamn mind.
Ariana.
That's a shame to me. That's a shame that she's not going to see audience feedback and she's just going to keep existing. But I'm going to, maybe this is a hot take. I don't blame her. I can't always check. Like, I can't even look at my Apple Podcast reviews. So, by the way, if you could leave a nice Apple Podcast review, like a 5, even if you just rate it 5 stars, but a nice review would help. But like, I'm afraid to go check my reviews because there will be one bad review and it will ruin my day. So I can understand. I think that I'm not even going to judge Lala for that. I'm not going to say that she should be, but it's a shame because she could be growing and she could be evolving. But I guess I do understand that it can get to be overwhelming. I just don't like how defiant Lala is. How, like Lauren. I'm sorry. I need to remember calling her Lauren. We're calling her a Lauren because she is Lauren from Utah, who has had no strife in her life, honestly, other than losing her father. She had 2 supportive parents who loved her no matter what she did and supported all her, whatever, her endeavors. And then she came to LA, got a boyfriend that paid for shit right away. And turns out he was a total douche. And she was just so like sheltered and unaware that people operated like this. I think this was talked about at a reunion. And then she was like so shocked and expected everyone to be like, oh my God, I know. How could you have known? But we were like, girl, like everyone could tell that. So I don't know what you want. And then she had the nerve at the reunion to be like, you guys should have told me. It's like you screamed at everyone when they would. So anyway, let's keep going. Ooh.
Ariana, I can't even tell you if she's ever had a storyline to tell.
But that's the other thing people are forgetting.
No one's forgetting, you fucking bitch. No one's fucking forgetting. Okay? Why does her not having a storyline over the years and not being the center of drama have anything? What does that have to do with anything? And that's actually not true. She was in the whole Kristen thing, all that shit. So please, I don't thank you. No one's forgetting Lala. Lauren.
But that's why I feel like that's why it's kind of popping for her this season because
she's the storyline.
We haven't really seen her fight or personality or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And is why it's very hard.
And that was a short clip, but Heather is right. Like, that's why it's popping for her, maybe shocking to people to see her like this because she's been pretty even keeled for the most part. And for Lala to be so like, why can't Ariana get a whole season of being psycho? Why can't she have an entire fucking season of screaming at Tom any chance she gets? Because I really would prefer every scene to be you guys just yelling at Tom and just telling Tom you hate him. I don't know why it's not that. I don't know why it's the opposite and why it's like Tom feels feelings, guys, and we should all be concerned about his feelings. And just, what about Ariana's? Yeah, Ariana's is fine. But Ariana's fine. And even when Heather McDonald says herself, like, she could have made $1 million. It doesn't matter. She's still going through it. And she's like, oh, no, totally. I'm like, well, then why have you been counting her money? Huh? Oh, this is just a small clip of Heather saying why she didn't trust Anne.
Anne is why it's very hard to hire an assistant in this town.
Why? Wait, why?
Hello? She's doing podcasts. She's talking shit about her boss on camera to someone else and saying, I want to work for you. She's doing confessional. She's like, I mean, are you kidding me? Like, oh my God.
Can I
thank God AI exists because like I'm fucking terrified.
That was funny. Sorry, that was all that was. Oopsies. Let me make sure. Is that it? That was it. Okay, that was it. Oh, we got through it. Oh my God, there were that many. Okay, so Lala is like my nemesis now. She's just terrible. Okay, God, this is going to be such a long episode to edit, but let's get into the valley, I guess, right? Okay, I'm trying not to be a little burnt out because what starts to happen is when there's this much to cover, like I get to this point, I don't have all the words and the energy to like go into the nuances and stuff. Actually, should I just do this tomorrow so I can get this episode up? Yeah, okay. I actually think I'm going to because I want to do justice to this. There's a lot of good stuff in it. I think I am going to wrap this up today, edit the fuck out of this because it needs a lot of editing now. And tomorrow morning, when I get done with my eye appointment, I will record the valley. Because I also need to record Summer House. So maybe I'll be behind on Summer House. Oh my God, there's too much to cover. Okay. So I'm gonna wrap this up because I'm starting to get a really bad headache because I'm in front of all these lights and like I gotta pee. It's just like it's a lot to cover. And I want to give enough time and effort to my feelings and my thoughts on it. So I'm going to wrap it up now, but don't worry. I promise I will be bringing you the valley tomorrow, ASAP. And Summer House will come, of course, for my Patreon. The Summer House, I am covering Summer House. It's just only on the Patreon for the middle and top tiers. So if you want to get the Summer House footage, please go check out the Patreon. Link is in the bio. And lives are now going to be at 10 a.m. I'll be doing lives at 10 a.m. So not 9 a.m. Pacific time, because 9 a.m. was just too damn early. I was like, I am not able to like function enough yet. I'm up way ahead of that, but still like, I just wasn't like, I wasn't ready. So 10 a.m. on Saturdays and Sundays from now on. I love the mornings, Saturday, Sunday mornings. I know it's not morning. The reason why I did it at 9 a.m. is because I wanted to kind of try and make it early for the East Coasters, but it was still noon, which is like not early really. So 10 a.m. PT lives moving forward. I will catch you guys tomorrow with the valley. I'm going to do my best for my Patreon people waiting for the Summer House. It might be a day behind just because this has gotten me a little bit behind, but I will try not to fall behind. I will try to get it out to you by tomorrow evening. Okay? Maybe late, but I will do my best, okay? All right, I love you guys so fucking much. Mean it. I'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in to She's Speaking with Emily Hanks. This show is produced, hosted, and edited by me, Emily, and brought to you in partnership with Cloud 10 Media. If you are looking for bonus content, check out the Patreon. The link is in the description. To show some support, you can hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Another free way to support the pod, please rate and/or review on whatever platform you listen. It's free, and it helps the algorithm or something. You can also head to buymeacoffee.com/shespeaks and buy me a coffee or two. Make sure you're following me on all social medias. I am She's Speaking with Emily Hanks across all platforms: Threads, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. That's it. Thank you guys. See you soon.